Okay, so we're talking about fear, continuing our study on fear. What has kind of stood out to you, or anything last week that was said, or maybe or something that maybe Brenda had said last week that kind of stuck with you, or is there anything?
I don't know. I liked the idea of baby stepping your way to it, and making it manageable. Giving yourself an ability to adjust to it, face it, without having to go full front. And so I've been kind of thinking about that in my family. What would that be as we've interacted, me and my brothers and sisters, throughout the week? What would be something small? And so, trying to think of that. Would be something small to start with that, would start a small conversation, and then maybe baby step ourselves to big issues and everything. And I think one of those, for me, that kind of stuck with me was this being, I guess, at different stages, she and I, and realizing almost, because, almost looking from the outside in, going, oh, I know exactly that feeling of staticness, that feeling of it's not going to change. I'm on a wheel that will never end, that cycle that it'll never end, and thinking, there's growth in this, thinking I know that feeling so well, but I also know that even just this week there's been some kind of a change. I noticed that my fear, my anger, my anxiety, kind of follows a pattern, but this particular round, when it should have really gotten me to the point where I, have those whoa, regretful moments, or just feel completely unsettled inside and stressed out, and I've had moments this week and last week where I just kind of went, okay, I'm about to rage, so I'm going to just take a moment, and before I knew it, I had, something had shifted. It felt different this particular month,
Okay.
And so, and I think it's that okay, take it small. Try to give yourself moments to, if this gives you anxiety, absorb it, be in the moment in that anxiety so that it has less power, because out of what we kind of studied. And then it was just interesting to know that what that could cost me to stay this overly critical and fearful of everybody else's judgment and loss of love, how that could eventually cost me my relationship with my daughter and my relationship with my son, and thinking about that. Hello.
Hello.
Hey,
Hello.
Hey, come on in.
I'm in the right place.
I think you are.
come on in. Have a seat.
I'm Erica. You was sitting with Leon on Sabbath.
I might have been. I don't
It
remember.
was me and my husband, and then the twins were right next to
Oh,
us.
okay.
So.
Yeah. I'm Tony.
Tony. All right, I'm Kim Baker.
Hey, did you say Tim or
Kim.
Kim.
Yeah, it's Kim.
Hey,
Yeah. A lot of people think, oh, Tim. No, not Tim. It's
Well,
Kim.
I'll say Tony, and then my draw, they would mistake me for saying Tommy. So.
Drawl? What kind of drawl?
Mine's worse than some other people from the same area. Only way I can figure that is I come from a smaller town, maybe, and so my draw's a little deeper.
Where are you from?
I'm from Crane.
Oh, okay.
It's about 30 miles south of here. If you're not,
Yeah.
if you don't know the area.
We're from here.
Uh,
I'm from here, from this area, from
Yeah.
Odessa, and
Yeah, I work Crane a lot.
yeah.
working in the oil field.
Uh-huh.
Worked down there quite a bit. Well, glad to have you. Don't know if you know a lot about what we do here, or
Well, they explained it a little bit
Explained
at
a little
the
bit?
church. Yeah.
Okay.
So,
Alright. Well, just to kind of give you, I kind of like to give people a little background on myself when they come in. I'm not going to give you my full testimony because it takes a while. But I was sex abused as a child, verbally and emotionally abused by my dad quite a bit. In my late 20s, I felt a calling from the Lord, and the woman I was married to at the time, if you do anything as far as ministry, I will leave you.
wow.
So I did. I turned my back on God. I mean, I didn't turn my back completely on God, but I turned my back on the calling that I had. So in 2010, started thinking about this, and God, about a year or two before that, really got hold of me and healed me from my past and helped me tremendously. And that's when I started getting the calling again. And this time I told him, I'm not turning my back. I'm going to do what you say. So I actually started, it's called, my actual ministry is Victim Survivor Conqueror Ministry. And I'll explain why we call it Tackling the Tough Stuff here on Thursday night in a minute. But that's the name of the actual ministry, and I started in 2012. So this is starting my 8th year, I guess, something like that. I've done anywhere from 1 to 4 classes a week for the last 8 months, probably 8 months. I've been doing 2 nights a week, do VSC on Tuesday night, and I do a different subject on Tuesday night. And the reason why we call this Tackling Tough Stuff is last year, before Rock the Desert, I got Rodney got to talking to me and wanting me to come and do a program up here at this church at a Met. And so he wanted me to start during Rock the Desert, which I told him no way, because that's a lot of work for me. I've had a booth out there. This will be my 6th year to have a booth out at Rock the Desert, if you're familiar with Rock the Desert. So the week after Rock the Desert, I started a class over here, 4 or 5 subjects, and they called it Tackling the Tough Stuff. So when I started doing 2 classes over here, I just kept the names. Okay? So that's the reason why we call it Tackling the Tough Stuff, and you're going to hear VSC, it's all the same.
And VSC stands for?
Victim Survivor Conqueror Ministry.
I like.
Okay? There's a lot of victims in this world.
There's a whole bunch.
There's
Everybody.
probably everybody. Everybody ought to be able to raise their hand on that question. You might not have been a victim of sexual abuse. You might not have been a victim of verbal and emotional abuse, but you've become a victim of anger, your own anger, someone else's anger, guilt, unforgiveness, bitterness. There's lots of them. And then I guess probably around 6-8 months ago, I started doing Facebook Live, and I've had as many as 1,200 people tuned in. Most time I have 40 to 50 to 100,
So that's the lights.
That's the lights.
Yeah.
And this is the camera up here.
So
But
I'm not being.
and one thing I do want to tell you real quick, Tony, that is anything that's talked about in here, it stays in here.
That's
Okay.
good.
It stays in here. It don't go any farther.
That's important.
You know, because I want that. That's been my desire, and it's always been this way so far. And thank God that I've never had to ask anybody to leave. But I do tell people, if I hear you at the mouth, I'm going to ask you to leave.
Yep.
Because I'm here for the people that want to be here. You know. So anyway, just kind of wanted to let you know that kind of stuff. I try to remember that kind of things to tell people.
Yeah.
And this is open discussion. Okay. There's times we haven't done it so far here, but I remember one Tuesday night class we had a lady come in. She'd been struggling that week. She had a question, and we spent an hour and a half discussing that question. That's what we done. We didn't do class, you know, and that's what it's about. Because it's about the people in here. It's about the people sitting in these seats, and that's what I'm about. Okay.
That's good stuff.
Is that somebody out there?
It sounds like
So
that.
I hear
Maybe somebody
noise.
at the door trying to go through the front doors.
It took me a minute to find you because I
Go to the
went.
side one. Yeah.
I would. Yeah.
Hello? I kept thinking I heard something. I'll show you the way out here after a while. Okay, come on in, join us. Let me get y'all some.
Now, let you sit with her, and I'll sit over here on the couch. That way, I don't know. It just seems etiquette.
Fantastic.
Let's see. Have I got two fears? Oh, I gotta make some more books.
Are you out of the fear ones?
Huh?
Are you out of the fear ones?
Yeah.
Lisa can look on mine if you want.
Oh, I've got
Okay.
some big ones here
Okay, good.
that I'll hand out tonight. And let's see, let me.
Page 87. In that one. Oh, and this one I'll find it for you.
87 in here,
Yeah.
Erica?
Yeah.
Okay. This book, Tony, has all of our classes that we do. And I was explaining to him a little bit about the ministry, but want to introduce myself. I am Kim Baker. I'm the director of the VSC ministry, and I conduct these classes.
I'm Erica. I've been here for a few months. Yeah. So, yeah, it's been very helpful.
I'm Tony. First night.
Yeah.
Oh, sorry, I did not. That's Brother Dan letting me know that you're at the door.
Oh yeah. Oh,
Sorry.
that's what I thought.
Okay, so your name is?
Dulce.
What?
Dulce. Dulce. Dulce.
Dulce.
Dulce.
Kind of like maybe dulce.
Yeah.
That's right.
Candy in
Dulce.
Spanish.
If you can think of like you're dueling with guns. And
Okay.
say, maybe dulce.
Yeah. That's the
I've
way.
never heard that.
That's
name
new.
before.
Really, and being in West Texas and everything.
Is that a pretty
means
popular
candy.
Spanish
Yeah,
name?
it's candy. Yeah.
Is
It's
it?
Spanish and also Hebrew.
It's what?
Hebrew too.
Oh,
So-
really?
Oh, wow.
It's Hebrew?
Yeah.
Really?
But, yeah, like they have different meanings, but it kind of pretty much means the same.
What's it mean? What's it mean? Do you know?
Candy?
Candy?
Candy.
Yeah.
Hey, I can remember that. I like it.
That's good.
Okay. What do I do with
I
my
don't know if you like to
quick-
take notes, but there's
Okay. Like I was telling Tony, that this is an open class. This is discussion. I will be doing some reading. You can follow along in there. You can look at the TV. And please, if I am reading or saying something and you've got something to say, speak up, okay? Because this is about y'all, okay? This is the reason why I do this, you know, because I want to see people find healing and find peace in their life, because that's what God wants. That's what God wants for us, okay? And I know that, okay, have you been coming here, Tony, or?
Since May 25th,
Oh, have you?
I haven't
Oh.
missed a Sabbath. I mean,
Okay.
I'm on fire.
Well, great. All right. Have you come here to this church, or
Oh no, I haven't.
you just called?
Yeah, well,
Okay.
I had a lot of bad stuff happen to me, so yeah. He told me he recommended me to come on Thursday.
Okay.
Yeah.
Okay. All right. That's good. Well, you're going to see in these classes I've done, because I've been doing Hebrew roots now for, I guess me and my wife now are in our 6th year, something like that. Pretty close, 6 years of doing it. So you're going to see Yahweh, Yeshua, and you're going to see God in parentheses. And when I put him in parentheses, I don't mean disrespect. Not one bit, because I love God very much, but I just prefer to use more Hebrew words than I do anything. So that's just my preference. But anyway, you got something you want to talk about, it don't really matter if it's something that you're going through, that's fine. Okay? It's not a big deal. Okay? I do recommend to both of y'all, if you can, go back through the material, read, okay? And I will get some more of these made up. And you're welcome, Tony, if you'd rather have the big book, everything, or if you'd rather have individual classes, because that's what I've done, is broke it down to individual, because some people got to saying, well, that's a little intimidating, having all that material together. So, but anyway, alright, I'm gonna shut up. 7:20, we're gonna try to get started. Hopefully we got people tuning in tonight. But alright, so last week, and I loved last week's lesson, because, we're just gonna, okay, don't you do this to me again.
There you go.
All right. That's not it. Sorry.
It's okay, I'm looking at
Me and technology. Me and technology is not the best. Anyway, last week we talked about desensitizing ourselves to our fear. Okay? How many of us like to have confrontations?
I'm not one.
Yeah.
I don't like confrontation.
Yeah.
Okay? Normally, most of the time, this is not exactly true science, but most of the time there's two types of people. there's one that don't like confrontation whatsoever. We avoid it. I was one of them that I'd fight tooth and nail not to have a confrontation. Okay? Then there's the other person that runs over everybody because they want to have it now. Let's get it on, let's get it over with right now. Okay? So, and like last week when we were talking about desensitizing, what we were talking about was taking baby steps. Let's say that, and we had a guy last year when we done this study, that actually told about a friend of his that had not been out of his house in 15 years.
Wow.
Okay? So there's people like that. There's people so scared to go outside that they don't.
Yeah.
Okay? So how can we get over that? How can we try to heal? Well, one way is to try to desensitize ourselves. Okay? And what it is talking about taking baby steps. Say the person that don't want to leave the house, okay, you go and you stand at your front door for 5 or 10 minutes and you walk away. And you do that for about a week or two. Then the next step is you unlock the door. Because most people that are like that, they guarantee they've got everything shut up. Windows, doors, everything. You unlock the door. Next, then you progress until you can go out on the front step and stand for 5 minutes. Then go out and maybe walk around the house. Then down the sidewalk. Take baby steps. And if we relate that back to confrontations, that's just the way we ought to, that we, especially us, and actually both sides of the spectrum, ought to take baby steps towards confrontation. Okay? Because what happens, especially if we're the type of person that don't like confrontations.
We can become a doormat.
Right, you're absolutely right. But if we go, oh man, hey, okay, this study said I've got to learn to confront, so I'm just going to go out there and go do it.
Yeah.
Well, I'm going to tell you what's probably going to happen. You're going to get shot down, you're going to get hurt, and you're going to become a doormat. For sure. Okay? But if we take baby steps, and I think that's one of the biggest keys of trying to get people to learn about this ministry. I had a lady, we had a lady last Thursday night on Facebook that 3 years ago, her 18-year-old son died. I don't know the circumstances, but she's like, tell me exactly, what do I do to heal? What do I do to get better? What do I do to get better? And, and it just breaks my heart. For one thing, I can't sit there and type while I'm in class, but it's not that simple. And Erica was sharing tonight, because we've got another lady that will probably be here next week, but she had one of her friends come in tonight, so she wasn't able to come to class. But Erica was saying that, because I asked her what stood out to her from last week, and she was saying that seeing her at the point that she is made her realize where she's at right now. And that she understand, she still can understand exactly where that woman is at. how she feels.
Yeah, to feel that static and everything, because you know it was her first time in here, and I remember my initial encounters and everything feeling so, knowing intellectually that the Lord forgives everything and you just have to be His, but emotionally feel like that's for everybody else except me. That's for God's people, and I'm thinking I'm not His. As much as I want to be His, as much as I love Him, I'm not His. And how much that weighed and shaped and really destroys you, and realizing just, or like feeling that it's just nonstop and you'll never escape the weight of not feeling good enough for whoever it is that you're trying to measure up to, and just seeing that and realizing how, I guess now that I more flexible, I guess I am with myself at this point, knowing that I'm His, guaranteed. He has shown me so many ways. I am the Lord's in so many ways, and knowing that He made me, knowing exactly who I am, past, present, future, and He's still there fighting for me, and how much peace I get in that, and knowing that even the future mistakes and the future growth that I still need, that He's not going to abandon me. And you know, I've had like sometimes like night terrors and stuff, you know, and you know, you really feel that spiritual warfare, and I've had to say, you know, no, Satan, you're not gonna trick me. I know I'm His, and if right now I'm feeling scared, I'm just gonna immerse myself in Him, you know, and I can't go back. And having moments where you do feel like I just want to go back because what's ahead I don't feel strong enough for. But just feeling that every time I do feel that way, something, I just feel the Holy Spirit push me back in, you know, like against your will almost, you know, like you're coming and you're doing this, and kind of just trying to remembering how impossible it felt, and how these days it feels like it's just, I'm not there yet, but there's growth, I mean, I'm already God, so the rest is just letting Him heal me, you know, I'm His, trust it and just let Him heal me. And that's big for me, because I was not, it reminded me when I saw last week, it's like how much we put up our own walls, I guess, was the big realization, how much of that was me, because I could hear it with our friend last week going, that's wanting to go, no, it's just you, it's not it's not permanent. So that was the biggest takeaway from last week.
Yeah, it you know, there's going to be, depends on how far you want to go with this, the studies, the different topics that we do. Because we do have 8 or 9. I'm trying to remember now.
Yeah.
Sometimes I lose count exactly how many topics that we do go over. You know, but we don't shy away from anything in here. We do not get vulgar. We do not get rude. But I try to make sure that people call things what they are. I had a lady one time that she kept saying, well, my youth pastor took advantage of me. No, your youth pastor raped you. And she never could say it. She refused to. And that's one of the reasons why we do talk, and we try to get people to talk in here, is because when we speak it, it's just like the beginning of the Bible in Genesis. God spoke the word. When we speak the word, when we speak a word, it makes it real. Okay? So, one other thing real quick, and I'm really sorry about this, but there's just some things that keeps popping in my head that I feel like I need to share, is this also. Please Do not look at someone else and judge yourself off of where you're at. Okay? Because we all learn at a different rate. We all learn at a different speed. We soak things up differently. And we progress differently. Okay? And I've had people before. Well, you know, I'm not like this one. You're not supposed to be. God didn't make you like her. Okay? God made you like you. So let's try to do that. But anyway, that's what we were talking about, desensitizing fear. And I do want to go ahead and get to the part of tonight's study. And normally we go to about 8:30, or whenever I feel like I got a real. Sometimes if I feel like if we're getting to something that's going to take a little more time than to be able to get in good time, I'll stop a little bit early, but roughly 8:30. Okay. How to counter our fears with facts, and also all of our material is available on our website. Our website is on the banner back here, vscministry.com. You can go on there. You can download any of our material if you want to, but I'll have it up here. But how do you think you can counter your fear with a fact or facts?
I think sometimes our fear gets so blown out of reality that if we just remind ourselves that this is what's actually happening, then maybe you could lessen how big it's grown in your mind,
Okay.
in your heart.
Okay. And understand, there's no answer that's wrong. Okay? It's how you feel. It's where you're at. Okay? So, anybody else?
I'm just thinking there's probably healthy fear and unhealthy fear. So
Okay.
my fear of being behind on that IRS would be kind of healthy. I need to fix that. Just
Yeah.
Reality.
Because we have to understand this is a God-given emotion. There's a lot of people that will argue that point. But yeah, there is. There's healthy fear. You know, like I have shared before in here, that one of my fears has always been snakes, especially rattlesnakes.
me and you both.
You know? Okay? Is my fear healthy, unhealthy? In a way, it's unhealthy because I've been in the oil field since 2011. I've never even gotten close to being bit. Or 2001, I mean. So, okay. But there's still that possibility that it could happen. So if I think I hear something, I think that is a God-given ability to get my butt out of there. And I've shared, I've done that at one point or another. But anyway, and that's what we need to do with our fears, is attack them with actual facts. Because most unhealthy fear is unreal fear. Okay? And also, I was going to tell you, all of our studies kind of has a backstory from either the Bible or somebody or about a real person. And fear is about Gideon. Of course, if you know the story of Gideon, Gideon goes out. He's got this massive army, and God said, no. Get rid of some of them. I'm kind of paraphrasing here. And he goes back to God again, and he says, okay, I'm ready to go to battle. God says, no. Still too many. Okay? What's God trying to do? He's trying to get Gideon to deal with his fear. Okay? But like Gideon, if you grew up in an environment where fear reigned, and you could easily have developed a fear-based mentality as a child, and grown into adult who is now controlled by fear, been there? At times you feel helpless and powerless to confront or to match someone's strength. Gideon had been at the mercy of those around him who, as master manipulators, used a whole arsenal of fear tactics, unless you, like Gideon, come to recognize the bondage you are in and accept the fact that Christ came to free the oppressed, you will remain in bondage. Christ came to set you free just as he set Gideon free. Just as he set Gideon free centuries before, the Spirit of the Lord is on me because he has sent me to proclaim good news to the poor. He has sent me to proclaim freedom for the prisoner and recovery of sight for the blind, and to set the oppressed free. Luke chapter 4 verse 18.
I had like 3 or 4 Dr. Peppers, so you might want to just continue
Okay.
and I catch up.
That's fine.
This
Don't
might
worry
not
about
be
it.
my last trip.
Okay? But what we got to understand about these scriptures and look at this is, does it say that the Spirit of the Lord is only on Gideon?
It says on me.
No, on me. The Spirit of the Lord is on everybody because he has sent every one of us to proclaim good news to the poor. Okay? Is it my calling to preach salvation? No, not necessarily. That's not my main priority. Now, do I do it? Yes. Do I recommend it? Yes. Okay? Just like we talked about with you a few weeks ago.
Yeah.
Right now, your calling is nursery,
Yeah.
working with kids. Okay?
And that's what Paul says. We all have our skill set, right?
Yeah.
We're all made
Yeah.
for a different part of the ministry.
Yeah, we're all part of the ministry, but we all work together as a collection or as a whole. Right? Fear. I can't help feeling intense fear. Is that a fact?
It's a feeling.
Huh?
It's an emotion, a feeling, a state.
Okay? That's right. It's an emotion. It's a feeling. And if we look at it and if we listen to our words, well, I can't help feeling this way. Okay. That's where you're at this time. Okay? But is that where you want to stay? Do you want to stay in this feeling? No. Okay? So we got to address it with facts. This feeling is a bluff to my mind and body. It is not grounded in truth. So we say with confidence, the Lord is my helper. I will not be afraid. What can a mere mortals do? And I think it's supposed to be to me,
Yeah.
not in me.
Yeah.
A lot of this I typed up a lot of times at 2, 3 o'clock in the morning. So, and I'm not the best speller, and of course, and technology is not my favorite thing. Okay, fear. I have this feeling of doom, a feeling I'm going to die. Anybody ever felt that way?
Yes, I suppose so.
Some people do. You know, I don't know why. I still don't know why. I guess I need to really talk to God about this question, because for some reason, and it may be because my dad died at 61, so he was a pretty, young man.
Just young when you're 61.
Yeah, he was a young man now, Tony. Because I never thought I'd see 60. I never thought I'd live to be 60 years old. I don't know. Was that a fear of mine? I guess it was. Don't know where it come from. Still don't know.
Right, and I guess I even think that as moms, we always have this feeling of if anything ever happens to me, and so there's this like anxiety of like, Dad, you gotta know how to do this,
most definitely.
Or I gotta make sure to teach them this or that. Like there's always that what if in the back of a mom's head. So
yeah,
when you related it that way,
kids, Tony.
Yeah.
Got kids?
Yeah.
Okay. I mean, not that, and like I tried to tell Erica, it's not that I don't think that we as men don't think about that kind of stuff. I guess it's because of nature or
So that balance.
our environmental upbringing, that basically with men, did I bring home a paycheck? Did I put food on the table? Probably the two priorities that we probably look at the most.
We don't have that motherly instinct
No, we don't.
that they have.
No.
Yeah, sometimes, and that's what we and Kim have talked about, is sometimes it can be so, you'll stay up nights worrying about your child and the future, and again, the things that aren't there, and the only thing that you have to remember is, okay, I'm here, they're safe, we've survived this, because we can get carried away. I can, and I know my mom can, and I know my sister can. We can get carried away in these potential dangerous situations that, are just in our head, Sure, they're realities, but right now, they're real fears that could possibly happen, but the weight sometimes that you as a mom give it is not healthy. So learning to be like, no, I'm going to trust the Lord, that we're going to be safe, and wherever He takes us, the most important thing any of us can have is to have Him in our hearts, wherever we go.
A couple of weeks ago we were talking about, and this kind of lines up with this, about the 3 God-given inner needs that everybody has. The need for love, the need for significance, and the need for security. And really and truly, and if you look at it, God really did design men and women completely different. Yeah, we still have those, but we view them different.
I think it's like you said, it's a balance thing. It helps you in a relationship, to balance those. If you're both over here in the extreme mom world, nothing's going to get done.
Yeah. And, and one thing that we've got to understand is, and, I try to tell my wife this all the time, I love you. I love you very much. But understand this. God's first in my life.
Yeah.
You're second.
Hopefully she likes that.
And she does. She understands that.
'Cause
You know.
she's
Now
gonna
there
be
are
in that
some
deal.
that don't, that don't see it that way, and they don't understand it. But that's the way that God designed us. And what we're doing is, and that's one of the reasons why I think that we having so many, and I throw myself in here because I've been divorced twice. My wife has been divorced twice. So this is, both of us, this is our third marriage. But if we're looking for a man or a woman to meet those three needs, now, again, is it good to have a love of a woman or a man? Yes. Is it good for a man or a woman to make you feel significant? To make you feel secure? Absolutely. But they should not supply every part of it.
That would become codependent almost, wouldn't it? If you were like that. If I expected my wife to supply me with these needs, the majority of it
Yeah.
would be a codependency issue.
Yeah.
Possibly.
Yeah.
What was it? Love, significant, and what was the other?
Security. And every single person has these needs. Don't care who you are,
Tony, it's
where you've
page
been, what you've
76.
done.
Huh?
It's page 76 where
Oh.
it talks about it.
Okay? But again, fear. I have a feeling of doom. Everything's going to happen bad. Something bad's going to happen. Something bad's going to happen. Okay? So what's the fact? The fact is this. And me and my wife are dealing with this right now with my mother-in-law that lives with us. She has Alzheimer's. She don't have long. I don't know how long she's got to live. She has been in church all of her life, and she is so scared to death to die. And I'm like, as of right now, I don't feel that way. I don't know how I'll feel 20, 30 years. Well, I don't think I'll make 30 years, but, I don't know how I'll feel when I get to that point. I hope I don't feel that way. But what we have to understand is this. Our time is in Yahweh's hands, and only His hands. Okay? Yeah, are there accidents? Yes. And we know that by living in this county, in this part of the country. It's almost every day that we, you pick up the newspaper or you hear that somebody, there's been one person killed, from a wreck. So it happens. Accidents happen. But God knew it. Okay? From one man, God made all nations. That's one thing that and I try not to bring politics in here, and I'm not going to, but it just makes me mad with all the bickering, not only just in politics, but in our churches, in our families, is that God made every one of us.
We're all kin.
We're all kin.
Yeah.
We're all kin. And He marked out their appropriate times in history and the boundaries of their lands. Acts chapter 17, verse 26. Fear. I'm afraid of what others are thinking about me.
Oh, I'm guilty.
Oh, wow.
So, okay, maybe this fear thing is a place for me to be.
Yeah. Oh, I know. When I first started looking at fear, I kept thinking of fear like in this real extreme, like high adrenaline situation. You know, like, oh, I'm afraid.
Me too.
And it took a while to go, no, it's that what in every day of my life am I not doing? Because there's something that I'm like worried about and things. And then I started realizing I do have a lot of fear in my life. I don't go somewhere there because my children are going to misbehave, or I'm not going to go there because I'm not going to know anyone there. Like those small fears that drive and control your day. And that was one of my biggest struggles when we started this topic was I'd hear fear and I would think of like terror and you know, like this tremendous.
I'm guilty. I was thinking the extreme.
Yeah, me
Yeah.
too.
But when you just said this one, I'm like,
Yeah.
a bunch. I will mess around and think that someone is thinking
Yeah.
something about me and cop a resentment toward that person and not even know what they're thinking. They may not. I'm just not
Amen,
that
brother.
dadgum important, and yet I'll do that.
Yeah.
Does that make sense?
Yeah.
Yep.
I'm guilty.
So good.
Absolutely. And that's the reason why we need to learn confrontation.
Yeah.
And it's very, very important because just like that, how many how many misconceptions in families has taken place
Yeah.
and caused breakups of families just for that reason. We have a very good friend of ours that is helping us take care of my mother-in-law, working for us. She's been a blessing. She's been an angel. She's a dear friend. I love her very much. And I'll go back a little bit, but me and my wife were attending here at this church, like a marriage retreat one weekend. And we done a Friday night and a Saturday night, I think, study and stuff, and done some activities and whatever. But one of the questions is what is one thing that you love about your spouse? And they got around to me, and I thought maybe they was going to kick me out of the church. Because I was like, I can tell my wife to kiss my ass, and, you know, it doesn't affect our relationship. She does the same thing with me. You know, basically what I'm saying is, we're honest with each other.
Yeah.
We have become, we're honest with each other. And I think a lot of that is because of what we went through. Of the 2 broken marriages. We knew, because we are an eHarmony couple. We met on eHarmony and got married. But we went into it knowing what we didn't want.
Yeah.
Well,
But-
I'm thinking about getting on MessianicsSingles.com, but I hadn't found a free one yet.
Just hang in there, Tony. Hang in there. But yeah, here's the thing about it is, and probably again, if you drive in this town, there's probably in the back of your mind the fear of getting in a wreck. Because you see wrecks all the time. You see wrecks. It definitely wrecks. A lot of them all the time around here, right? But what do? Oh, well, man, I got to go to work. My work is more important because I got to put food on the table. So we rationalize that one out. But wait a minute. I wonder what Tony was. When I said that, I wonder what Tony thought about me. You know what? He didn't make an expression. I think I upset him. I think I made him mad. I think this. And that's exactly what we do.
Yeah.
So yes, yeah. Do we want to address the big stuff in our life? Yeah. But what we have to understand, it's a lot of this that we do. It's everyday stuff. It's everyday stuff that we come in contact with. Fact. My peace comes from pleasing God and not pleasing man. Again, we all understand, happy wife is a happy home. You know, we want to make our wife happy. We need to make our wife happy. But my ultimate goal every day ought to be when I lay down to sleep, that my God was pleased with me.
Yeah.
Why? If I pleased my God, then I probably pleased my wife.
Yeah.
We make it our goal to please Him. 2 Corinthians chapter 5 verse 9. Fear. I am hopeless and can never change. What's the fact? In Christ, I'm a new person. Nothing is hopeless. Okay? And we may be sitting here and we may be struggling with our relationship with God. People, it happens all the time. If anyone is in Christ, the new creation has come, the old has gone, the new is here. So if I'm in Christ, the old fear man is gone. 2 Corinthians chapter 5 verse 17. Fear. I am so nervous I can't think clearly. Yahweh will guard my mind and give me peace. The peace of Yahweh, which transcends all understanding, will guard your hearts and your minds in Christ Jesus. Philippians chapter 4 verse 7. Fear. To be safe, I have to be in control. Yahweh is in control of my life. And He is with me step by step. The Lord Himself goes before you and will be with you. He will never leave you nor forsake you. Do not be afraid. Do not be discouraged. Deuteronomy chapter 31 verse 8. Fear. I feel trapped with no way of escape. Have you ever felt that way?
Oh yeah.
There was a time in my life I did. God always makes a way of escape. You know, a lot of times we don't see it happening. We see it after it happens. My wife has been at home hospice for 15 years as a hospice nurse. She loves being a hospice nurse. She loved being able to take care of people that are dying and try to help them live what life they got left and be able to pray with them and stuff like that. But with her mom, it's it become impossible. My wife has a master's in nursing. I'll get a job. I'm not worried about it. 3.5 weeks later, she resigned her position. What am I going to do? I said, didn't you tell me you had faith in God? Yeah. Okay. You know, if God works it out that you go back to that job, there's a reason why He wanted you there. This job, oh, this sounds like a good job. Didn't get it. Oh, this sounds like a good job. Didn't come through. Out of the blue, medical center calls her and offers her a job where she goes from working probably 100 hours a week to working from 7:45 to 4:30 in the afternoon. No holidays, no on-call, plus making about $8,000 more a year.
Wow.
Come out of the blue.
Yeah.
Didn't expect that. We were looking at other things. And God said, whoa, wait a minute. No.
Well, that was you mentioned work, and that was the one thing I thought. Well, you know, I've never felt trapped, and I thought, or that. I'm like, well, hold on. I've gotten myself in so much overhead, and yet not like my work, but afraid. I felt trapped that I needed to keep that job to cover my overhead. I shouldn't have got. You know, what was my part in that is I should have never gotten that kind of debt to begin with. But that's it.
Yeah.
I feel like forced.
No temptation has ever overtaken you except what is common to mankind.
Well, it's kind of heavy.
That's real heavy. That's real heavy.
Can you
That
put
is
that in layman's terms?
okay. What it's saying, what it is we have mankind. We have passed. You know, I'd like to know who started. Seriously, go back and slap him. But you know, who started this worrying about fear? Didn't come from God. We're made in His image. The Word plainly states, and either the Word is true or it's not true. Part of it can't be true and part of it can't be false. So it wasn't God that put these thoughts and these falsehoods in our mind. That's one of the reasons why we do a study on guilt. I always thought, okay, guilt's guilt. No. What I've come to learn is that there's true guilt and there's false guilt. Which one are you dealing with? Same principle here. Is it real fear? Is it fear that God is trying to get your attention? Or is it fear that through environmental aspects of our life or just our mental makeup that we expect things to overtake us? But what he's saying here is there's not a temptation one that God is allowed to overtake you. That it's because of self. And Yahweh is faithful. He will not let you be tempted beyond what you can bear. How many believe that statement?
And sometimes when you're in the thick of it, it feels like this is more than I deserve, God. You know, like. And then you start to.
Why me?
Yeah. Why me? Why am I going through all this trouble? All this suffering, you know, when you're in that state of just, it's all too much, I can't do it, I can't go beyond it. But like you said, it's common to us to feel so helpless in situations that we ourselves create. You know, it's when you take your eyes off of God that you find yourself so overwhelmed, so defeated. So I kind of think of that, what is common to mankind. That's from the very beginning. It was the, I want to know, I want to be, so much so that I'm going to disobey God and I'm going to take this good and evil knowledge because I want to know. And sometimes, that we just do it. I just think of how much we relive that event in the garden so much that I want to experience this, or I want to know this. And so
little bit of ego, huh?
Yeah,
Uh-huh.
and it is, and it's like that. And then you end up,
I'm guilty.
making it so much about you that you get overwhelmed when you become alone in that, right? You become so, it's me,
Yeah.
I can't help myself, I can't save myself, I can't protect myself. That is a fact. Only the Lord can save me, protect me, heal me, shape me, and
here's the thing that I have thought about, and when I think about this statement,
yeah.
and I don't know what translation that they used on this. She
I always
used,
wonder.
whenever she put this together, she used a lot of different translations, but God is faithful.
Yeah.
He will not let you be tempted beyond what He can bear. What we can bear, sometimes it is too much. And I think it,
Right.
and why should we look at it that way? Is what He can bear. If it's what we bear, or what we can bear, then that makes us, in reality, think, oh, I can handle this. I can do this. And we're not relying on Him. But when you are tempted, He will also provide a way out so that you can endure it.
I like that, Kim, because then the moment I start thinking more than what He can bear, I think He can bear it all. He can take it all.
Yeah.
And there's almost, strength reminding yourself He's there. He's, to kind of re-change that little article there and remind
Yeah,
yourself.
I think that's one reason why that on the scriptures that we need to read it and look at it and wait a minute. How can I look at this? Is there a way that I could look at it different?
Yeah.
What's it trying to tell me? Because I've always read it as, okay, He's not going to tempt me beyond what I can handle. Guess what tomorrow happens? God, I can't handle this.
Yeah.
Yeah,
Yeah.
I like it.
That's 1 Corinthians chapter 10, verse 13. So, which are you going to make a priority in your life?
Mine-
Fear?
Great.
Or facts?
Facts. Easier said than done.
Huh?
I said facts. Easier said than done.
That was
Uh,
a good idea,
I
though,
know he's just
huh?
asking.
You can say that about everything that we do in here, Erica, and you know that.
So,
Okay.
like, alright, so
Oh, I just write down.
a person comes to me and they talk to me and want me to take an action. It seems unfair. So, but I'm afraid to tell them that because I have a fear issue and don't like confrontations. So how do I take that first baby step? And if that person is used to being able to be totally controlling over me, how will they react to that? It's kind of tricky. Because they're not going to be used to me going up to them and saying, you know, I don't believe that's fair. I don't think I'm going to mow your grass for free. Just because I'm behind on rent. That wasn't part of the deal. I'm behind on rent, but let me mow your grass and let me start catching up on my rent that way. Oh no, the man says, I want you because you're behind, mow my alley. And well, you know what? That's just a
Yeah.
Okay.
I hope I didn't get ahead or behind on that thought.
No, that's fine. That's fine. Now, the way that I think, Tony, that we need to try to handle that situation is that what we have done, like me and you in the past, probably at one time, I would just go mow the grass and be done with it, most likely.
Yes.
And I'm the doormat. Well, wait a minute. But if we approach it as, okay, you've asked me to do this because you've asked me to mow your yard because I'm behind on rent.
That was hypothetical based on a true story, but that part of it wasn't really actual what happened. But go ahead.
Yeah, I know. But anyway, so, you know, I'm trying to do better. I'm trying to change my life. Instead of me doing it for free, how about I mow it, you pay me, and then I'll turn around and pay you.
Yeah, that seems correct, doesn't it?
Yes.
Because it wasn't.
But
It wasn't in
not-
the original deal to mow his grass for free. Actually, there's some truth in this story. This has.
I know what
it.
you're saying.
Okay.
Okay? Because that's what we've got to do is that a lot of times, like with me, and I'll go ahead and I'll tell you all real quick story on confrontation is that, you know, I'm sitting in here in class and I'm listening to people and I start praying and I feel God or, you know, Yahweh telling me and leading me that this is something that needs to be done, that people need. Well, in the meantime of God dealing with me about doing this subject, all hell broke loose at work one day, and I was kind of like my wife. I don't have a master's degree, you know, I don't have a degree, but I'm very good at what I do, and by damn, I don't have to put up with it. I can find a job. I turned in my keys, told my boss to kiss where the sun don't shine, walked out the door. 6 months later, I took a 75% decrease in pay and was glad to have it.
hungry?
And all this time, God was dealing with me. And I was like, yeah, that probably, yeah. And so I gave in. And I said, okay, I will start putting this study together. I'll start typing it up. So I'm sitting there. I don't remember how long I've been working on it. I've been working on it for a little while. And I'm like, man, this is going to be good for people in class. I don't like this. Typing, I definitely don't like this. And I just stopped and I just looked up and I said, okay, I understand. Yeah, I want you to do this. I want you to learn this. I called my boss. He said, well, I never thought I'd hear from you again. And I said, well, I didn't think you would hear from me again. So I asked him if we could meet and talk. Was I hoping to get my job back? Yeah, I was. I'll be glad to admit it. I was hoping. But I went into it telling God that I will apologize, that I wanted to apologize for the way that I acted, because people at work, when they get around me, they quit cussing, they quit saying certain things, because they know the life that I tried to live. So I went into it. Was there a hope? Yeah, there was a hope. But I went into it wanting to do the right thing and apologize, not for getting mad. I had a legitimate right to get mad because I got accused of something that I didn't do, but the way I handled it was wrong. So I apologized and I told him, I said, I want to ask your forgiveness for the way that I acted. Of course, he's not a Christian. He doesn't go to church or anything, but he respects me and my beliefs. And so we had lunch together and talked, and he said, well, I'll talk to you later. And I'm like, okay, God, you told me what I needed to do. I've done it. Now it's in your hands. Next week I get a phone call from him, and he said, I'd like for us to sit down and talk again. Okay. So we made arrangements and we sat down and talked, and he asked me, he said, do you want your job back? And I said, yes. I said, I had hoped. I said, but that's not the reason why I've done this. I want you to know that. I've done it because I felt like God told me that I had to do this, and I wanted to be obedient. And he said, okay. He said, well, I'll talk to you later. And I said, okay. The next day, he called me back and he said, hey, can you be at the office at 7 o'clock and meet with me and Joe, the owner of the company? And I said, yeah. So I pretty much, I knew that there was going to be an offer made. But, I'm like, I know my salary going to be slashed. No telling what I'm going to have to do. And so I went and met with the general manager and the boss, the owner of the company, and they both looked at me. They said, "Kim, do you want your job back?" And I said, "Yes." And I said, again, I want to tell both of y'all I'm very sorry for the way I acted. I did not handle the situation right. And I said, I promise you that will never happen again. And the owner looked at me. He said, "Okay." He said, "Well, here's the deal." And I thought, okay, here we go. And he said, "Okay, you come back, you are reinstated at full salary, vacation time reinstated, everything reinstated, your expense, your payment on your truck." He said, "Oh, by the way, on payment on the truck, I'm going to increase you $100 a month, give you an extra $100 a month." And so he said, "That's it." He said, "We're back good. Everything's just like it was." He said, "Now you and Ronnie work out the other details." I was actually the general manager. Of the company, running 22 people, doing all the billing, doing all the safety, doing all the maintenance, doing everything. But because I was obedient, and I guarantee you, it's only because I was obedient. Because I was obedient, I got all that taken away from me, and what I do is drive up and down right-of-ways and take pictures, write reports, and that's it.
Need a helper?
Huh?
I said, "You need a helper?"
And that's it. We got to be obedient to the leading of God. If God is leading you in some way, find a way to be obedient. But in here, all of our classes, basically I can wrap it up in a few things. One is to realize, to analyze, to stop and look at the situation. Think about the situation. What is going on? In other words, stop and act on that situation instead of reacting. Because that's what we do. 90% of everything we do is reaction to something or someone else. And when we react, that's when crap goes south.
So instead of fire, ready, aim, you want to do aim, ready, fire.
Yeah.
Okay? There's nothing wrong with there is absolutely nothing wrong with telling somebody that they have done something wrong. Or that they've hurt your feelings. There's nothing wrong with that. It's called boundaries. We need to be able to set boundaries. And that's part of the issue with people that have been either sexually, especially sexually or verbally abused, or physically abused, is we don't know how to set boundaries. Why? Because boundaries were broken. And usually it was always broken by the people that we trusted the most or the people that we loved the most. The ones that were supposed to care for us. So we don't know how to set boundaries. But that's part of what we try to do in here is teach you how to set boundaries. Okay? And I'm telling you right now, if you don't like confrontation, if you've never liked confrontation, the first time you do it, it ain't gonna be easy. And everything in here we do, and I'm gonna tell you something, you've done one of the hardest things that you've ever done. You two. And that's show up tonight. One of the next hardest things to do is show up next Thursday night. And I can tell you, usually, if I can get people to week 4, I usually keep them. 1 through 4 is when people drop out. Because I'm going to tell you something. There's going to be a point in here, depends on what classes you go through, if you go through all of them, whatever, but there's going to be stuff that's going to come up and it's going to hurt. I'm just going to tell you right now, it's going to hurt. Especially when we do the sexual or verbal and emotional abuse and you've been through it. Okay? I'm just being honest. It's going to hurt. But I will tell you this. I have seen numerous times of people that have stuck with it. And there's going to come a point where you don't need it no more. And that's fine. But I can tell you, I could probably list names, but I'm not going to. But I can tell you right now, I could list both sides of the spectrum. People that went from being distraught, the world being in hell every day, to see them become free, to have peace, to have contentment, to be content with their life. But on the other side of the spectrum, I have seen people that have come in and they take a little bit of it, and it will. I'm telling you right now, you take a little bit, it's probably going to make things worse. I'm just being honest. And this has nothing to do with me. This ain't nothing about me. This is all about God. Okay? Because I know good and well, this is not the only place to find support, to love on different people, to be able to love different people, to be able to hear stories and relate to different people's stories, and to find peace and to find healing. Okay? There's lots of places in town you could probably go to. But my goal has always been be a support, pray for each other. When you pray to God every morning, I hope that you pray for each other. I hope you pray for me. I need it so bad. That's always been the goal. But to hopefully that when you walk out of here, you can say, I have some life skills that I did not have. Because in my opinion, it takes more than just support. It takes more than just talking. It takes more than learning. We have to be able to implement skills that we learn. And I can tell you, and Erica can tell you, there's times when you gotta go get the tissue box, don't you?
Yeah. It's just one of those strange things where you think, day one, I let out get a class, do something. And then I come in, and at the end of that day, I stayed after class and told Kim things I had never said out loud to anyone or in a room by myself. And it was just the word. I mean, you just suddenly hear God's word in a very certain context, and you're like, I thought I was coming in to like learn to confront my brother and, you know, deal with my anger. And then at the end of that night, I was like, you know, admitting to, you know, being abused, sexually abused as a child, molested, and how that led me to have, you know, just terrible relationships with my cousins or repeat the pattern and things, and how terrible I felt and broken by that. And then that has then catapulted me into like all, you know, terrible relationships, you know, when I was so young, abusive relationship that I was in, and then how that affected my marriage. And I've confessed things I'd never confessed, and if it wasn't for my husband being so rooted in God, I mean, he's forgiven me for things I didn't think he'd ever forgive me for, and I owe that all to the Lord, you know. Realizing how much of that made me afraid as a mom, and just all these things about yourself you start to realize. And, you know, it is not uncommon for me to leave this room crying and with tissues and everything, or I'll have a moment in the van where I'm just like reeling from it. But yeah, you come to a point where you just start to realize these things about you. I realize how badly I want to be loved, but how scared I am about it because of all that I went through. And because I just have such low self-esteem, you know, for...
I got some of that.
Yeah, just how much I don't love myself, so it's made it hard to trust anyone to love me, you know, and to open up in any way. And so, I mean, yeah, there's days where you're just looking at a mountain, you know, and...
What was your name again?
Erica. Yeah.
You know what? I had it. I
Erica.
could have said it. I would have got it.
That's
So often I miss.
Yeah, it's okay.
Last year when I started the classes here at Met after Rock the Desert, and we started with anger. And I had a lady that second week, she's like, oh, well, you know, I don't get angry. I don't have anger. I don't have anger. I don't have anger. I don't have anger. I'm like, okay, great. I bet you do. But then the third week, after the third week, she stayed after class and she said, wow, I'm starting to realize that I've got some anger in my life. Didn't want to say told you so, but told you so. But so she's like, so she comes the next week, and before class she said, can we talk? I said, yeah, sure. And I walked over there to her and she said, well, I don't think I'll be back because my husband don't want me to come back. And I'm like, okay, all right. And, you know, just try to be supportive and try to encourage her. And so anyway, the next week, she walks in, and she walks in with her husband. She goes over and sits at the table she normally sits at, and he sits in direct line with me. And I mean,
Yeah.
eyes fixed right here. I'm like, okay. I'm trying not to act like I can see you. And I wanted to go talk to him after class, and up and out he went. Okay. Is they gonna meet me in the parking lot, or what's gonna happen here? And so after class, she told me. She said, "I'm not quitting." I said, "Well, I'm glad. I'm glad." And now me and him we're not best friends, but he's like, "Thank you." He said, your class exposed some stuff that my wife had hidden, and I can see now that it was best that it got exposed, and now it's out. We can deal with it. And so, got a lot of stories. What I'd like to do next week, if it's okay with y'all, and not everybody, if you don't want to do it, that's fine. But I do want to try to take at least part of the class next week, and we'll meet in the fellowship hall at first. And I want to do an art night. Okay? And what it is, if y'all can look on the wall, and when we get through, you're welcome to look at stuff and look at most of this stuff has been done either in class or out at Rock the Desert, because what I like to do is have people do some right before Rock the Desert, so I can display them and show them stuff that have been done in class. Okay? So I'll have chalk, crayons, pencils, pens, stuff like that. We're not going to do paint. I don't want to take a chance on messing up tables and stuff. But okay, so I'd like to do at least spend about 30 minutes or so. I'll have it set up if you want to come a little bit early or whatever, if you can, and you want to work on it. And then we'll spend as much time as we can in here. Okay? And I'll just tell you this. Yeah, part of it is because I need help. I need people to help me. But if you're not out at Rock the Desert, we've had a booth out there last year. We had over 3,000 people come through our booth last year. Okay, we do art. We do a thing that's called Garden of Mercy, where you can build a cross, write on there things that you want to bury out of your life. We'll have two banners. One that says my name. It's a play off of Matthew West songs. My name is Child of the One True King. Says my name is marked out. It says was. We done it last year, and people wrote on there names that either people called them or that they felt like. Just like the poster out here in the hallway. Look at that poster when you go out. That's the same principle that we've done. Then the other one says, my name is Child of the One True King. So what I do is if you are a child of the One True King, sign your name, your real name. And we presented those to Matthew last year out at Rock the Desert, because me and my wife, we worked a lot of their concerts for them. But Rock the Desert is really, it can go a long ways in helping you heal when you help people. Because that's one thing. When you go from being a survivor, and a lot of us, everybody's been victims. A lot of people, hey, I'm surviving. I have survived. That's great. That's awesome. I'm glad. Thank God you become a survivor. But guess what? There's another step. God's word doesn't say that he hopes that you become a survivor. His word said we are more than conquerors. He wants us to be a conqueror. Okay? So, if you're willing to help, we'll give you a ticket to get in. And I know that Amet's doing a sign up also. But anyway, be thinking about that. That'll be August 1st, 2nd, and 3rd. And, you know, it takes a lot of people. I've been out there 6 years, and I've had a 2-hour break in 6 years.
Wow. I was going to qualify part of the reason why I came, if that interest.
Yeah.
Okay, well, I've got like 71 days right now or so sober. So I'm an alcoholic. And my alcoholism hit me when I was a young man, probably 20, 21. So 40 years of my life has been in and out of that struggle. And I've been to AA a lot. And AA is good.
Yeah.
But, you know, I want to look at other avenues of healing. Because after I did my 5th step, they do steps in the Alcoholics Anonymous, and I did the step where I kind of looking at myself, and so I was hearing Dan talk about this, and there was things brought up like anger, guilt, different negative things. So I'm like, why don't I see what y'all have to offer, Kim? AA is real good. It is. You hear the same thing over and over again. So this is like a new pair of glasses, something fresh, something to try. And just like you just mentioned about fear, and I'm like, well, I don't have fear problems. I'm like, whoa, wait. You know, so
Yeah.
that's all. I just wanted to kind of do a quick qualifier
Hey, that's
of what I'm here for.
Thank you. Thank
And
you.
I-
I appreciate that. I
And
mean,
we alcoholics get pretty sick.
oh yeah.
We become lone wolves. And I don't have any.
And like you
felonies
say,
or anything
there
like that,
is,
y'all. I'm
you
not-
know,
y'all don't be
I've had people
No.
say, well, you're like a 12-step program. No, I'm not. No, we're not. We are, but we're not.
Right.
I said, it's really, and I said, nothing, I don't know. I said, I know very little about AA. I know it's a 12-step program. That's like Celebrate Recovery. It started out strictly alcoholics and drugs. They've evolved, but they still do the basic 12-step program. And, you know, and that's great. I've got a sister-in-law that is big in it, and she's in California at the East Coast Conference, and, you know, that's great. But, you know, this is what God has shown me, and, you know, and like I said, you're going to find out that just about every one of these classes that we take, it's going to hit your life at some point.
Oh, I'm sure.
Okay? There's going to be different degrees to different people, but it's going to hit it. Okay?
And we talked about early before you showed up, and your name is Dulce. And I'm used to this because I go to that program. What you hear here and who you see here is stay here.
Yeah.
I'm not gonna worry about after this meeting y'all saying, oh, guess what, Tony's an alcoholic.
Yeah.
I'm not, even though it's none of my business what you think of me. I'm going to feel relatively safe that it's going to be okay.
Yeah.
I mentioned that to her because she missed that part.
Yeah, it's totally private in here.
Well, that's what we're here for, and that's what I want. You know, that's always been my goal. Is that, you know, we're broken people. You know, just like Toby Mac song, we're broken. All of us are broken. And it's a shame that a lot of people will not admit that they're broken.
Yeah.
You know, because they live in misery and everything. But I appreciate everybody being here. Appreciate the words and everything. And let's I want to close in prayer tonight. We had a young, and I mentioned this a little while ago about the lady that had the son that died. I mean, she blew up my Facebook last week, and I haven't heard from her, so I don't know if I can try to message her or not. I'm gonna try to. I don't know if she tuned in tonight, but her name is Kat, and I don't know. Like I told Erica last week, I don't know why that it hit me as hard as it did, but it did. There's just something that hit me really hard. But anyway, glad y'all are here. Let's close on prayer, and then I'll be around for a few minutes and ask questions. You know, if you got a question or whatever. But Father, y'all, we just come to you, and Father, you know, just like the Toby Mac song that I referred to, broken people. We're all broken. But Father, you're the potter. Yeah, you made us. You've molded us in your image. But as we've gone through life, we've had little pieces, little chunks that is broken or fallen off or gotten weak. Maybe it don't hold as good as it used to. Father, I understand. This is not the only place to find healing. This is not the only place to find peace, to find people that care, Father. But Father, I pray that that's what this ministry will always be. And Father, I've told you from day one, I do not want to do this one day longer than you want me to. Father, I just ask you to guide each one of us. Thank you for everyone that is here tonight, Father. Father, you know the individual needs of each one of us. You know where we're hurting. Father, I pray that we will be open to your voice. When you point out, Father, that, hey, this fear here, you've had a problem with this. And that we don't shy away from it, Father, that we will face it. And we'll address it with facts. That we won't go off of feelings, Father, how we feel. We want to go off of your facts. Your word. Your word is true. Every bit of it is true. Father, again, thank you for the ones that are here. Father, thank you for the ones that may have tuned in on Facebook tonight. Father, I pray that there's somebody out there, Father, that you touch them tonight, Father, through something that somebody said in here. And Father, we just give you all the praise and glory in Yeshua HaMashiach's name. Amen. Here is brochures. I've got bracelets here, wristbands, different stuff. There's tackling and tough stuff. This is the BSC brochure. And every one of these banners, and I've even got more over here, are classes that we do. We do forgiveness, we do sexual abuse, we do reconciliation, we do anger, we do confrontation, we do reconciliation, we do guilt, we do victimization, how to overcome being a victim. We do sexual abuse and then verbal and emotional abuse, and of course we do fear. And so we hang up we'll have all these banners. I'll have all these banners out at Rock the Desert, and we'll hang them up, and also have 500 frisbees with our name on it that we'll be giving away.
Oh, that's fun.
We've got neon green frisbees, so they're going to be going everywhere.
Oh yeah, that'll be fun.
But Tuesday night, also, if you don't want to be able to work, or if you just don't feel like that you're ready to work Rock the Desert, but you would like a chance to win some tickets, we are raffling off 4 tickets to Rock the Desert for $5, and we hadn't sold about like 15 tickets, so
My chance of-
don't know why. I figured people would buy them, but we're not selling very many. But anyway, if you'd like to buy some raffle tickets, we will be drawing next Tuesday night. So we're doing anger on Tuesday night and fear on Thursday night. You can come to both. You can come to one. You can do whatever you want to do. Okay?
I'm always here on Thursdays.
Yeah, she only comes on Thursdays, and that's fine. That's great. I will tell you, it does take around. It depends on how many people, how much conversation we have, but it does. If you are thinking about going through every class, it does take about 14 to 16 months to do everything. Okay, it's intensive.
Well, so you'll hear me say things from time to time, and it has nothing to do with my intelligence. It has more to do with I've been in AA for so long, and they have little sayings, or there's things that come out of the big book. But I have a daily reprieve from my ism, and it's contingent on my spiritual maintenance. So I have a daily reprieve. So that 14 months doesn't say I'd love to be able to stay sober for 14 million years. So this 14-month thing does not scare me. I just thought anyway, you just got some more input.
I can say, wait, Tony, I talk nonstop. I'm sorry.
I think I can too, and I bet you do this. After you get through, you're like, oh, did I say too much?
Yeah,
Did I
right.
take too